Namaste, Jai Bharat. Right now, it's impossible to imagine the situation in Bangladesh as to what's going on in Bangladesh, how the people live there, what are the difficulties they're facing. These things can't be imagined. We have only peripheral and very outside kind of picture that we get through some kind of medias, which is not necessarily true. We know that the nation was going on well with whatever people had in their mind is secondary. Suddenly there was an upsurge. Suddenly the students were moving. How can the students get moving until there is some moving power behind it, moving force behind it? Whatever it is you can imagine. Then suddenly the Prime Minister has to quit, leave the place. That said, she didn't resign. Then someone else is planted in his place. From who puts him as in charge? Who makes him the advisor to whom no one knows? Who makes him the advisor? There is that moving force behind it. And all told, we come to understand that moving force is roughly Jamaat-e-Islami. And Jamaat-e-Islami is not doing it alone in the sense that they have been used by some other forces, some other kinds of deep states, or some other kinds of forces behind. Using Jamaat-e-Islam. Jamaat-e-Islam is easily usable so long as it comes to religion. They have certain thoughts, they have certain norms, and they have some certain understanding about phenomenal world, and you push that thing understanding into forefront, and through that you can get your things done through this kind of people. They are actually senseless. They just follow something like someone who only looks at just one thing and follows blindly. So Jamaat-e-Islam has put into action. No one else is doing it directly. It's Jamaat-e-Islami who are planning, plotting, but Jamaat-e-Islam is made to do like this, say this by other people whom one has to imagine. I can't vouch for it. I cannot speculate. We all know, but why should I speculate until I'm not sure? Until I'm sure about it, of course. So they are doing things. Suddenly, someone comes as an advisor. This question is pertinent. Who made him as advisor to, and again advisor to whom? Then suddenly picks up some people who are suggested by the Jamaat-e-Islami as his acting various kinds of ministers, and they go into rampage, and they were actually doing all kinds of brutality to the Hindus, destruction of temples, which they have done centuries before, long before which they had done. These people are repeating it. Now, many things go out of their hands. Suddenly, there's development of an army, Arakan army, and the Arakan army, of course, is also against Myanmar military, junta military, it is called, I suppose, and they want some kind of independence, and there's a possibility that they will come out with an independent concept of a nation within Bangladesh and Myanmar. There's a possibility, and if that comes, Bangladesh is they are at the receiving end in any case. Bangladesh, through whatever this kind happens, they are at the receiving end. Eventually, the people living there will have to suffer. They will have to suffer in all kinds of manner, and of course, one can only say that they ask for it. Whether they ask for it or not, the people will suffer, and the people are not really involved in this kind of things. And those who are involved, they comfortably sit. All the states are not like Israel, who pick up the leaders and just finish them off. The leaders are continue to be comfortable, and those who are involved, they have tears, sweat, and hunger, which as they get it as inherited. This shall go on, and it may happen that there will be another state coming up in a short time. There may be state that they will be attacked by somebody else from within, not from without. I don't say that Bharat is likely to attack Bangladesh, though there are border disputes. In Malda, there are some border disputes. I know that Malda had been a place through which Bangladeshi Muslims and Rohingya Muslims were infiltrating into Bharat, and that time the West Bengal ruling ministry had taken them, accepted them, did not send them back, and then given them electoral cards to obtain the votes. They were kind of recognized as Indian citizens, and they were given voting rights so that that ruling party wanted maximum vote. Now, this kind of this kind of suicide those political parties have done. What they have done is for the time being, and what they have otherwise done is actually create a lot of disasters in the society, and the society has to suffer. For the rulers, vote bank, society has to struggle. Many politicians are short-sighted. They won't think into future, but actually, politicians are expected to look for the future of a nation, and that's not the case with most of politicians. Only very few are so. Even the opposition in Bharat also does all kinds of these kind of things. Somehow to come into power, they do all kinds of destructive propaganda, which lingers on in society for some time, though it will have a natural death, a natural cessation at some point in time. But until then, it lingers and destroys people. So what will happen in Bangladesh is not predictable. I don't know. It's not. We can't guess what will happen. But whatever will happen in a bad way, and that will be to the destruction of that society in some or the other manner. It's unfortunate. People, I don't know how they will react to it and how they understand. Rather than they understand, two generations will be done. What's the point of knowing it later? What's the point of relating? Oh, I should have done this. No way. You have to do an act at the given time, appropriate time, which is very, very important. Timely thoughts, timely actions, and timely executions are very important. Otherwise, all these things will go waste. We meet again. Namaste. Jai Bharat. Jai Sri Ram.